I lost 30 pounds without it ever feeling like I was on a diet, and it was all because of a 3-habit system that I put together for myself. If you have tried every diet out there, and if you're sick of confusing advice, and if you are starting to think that losing weight is just way too complicated, then I get that, because I was you. For years I was stuck in the same loop. I would get random bursts of motivation, jump on the latest trendy diet, buy the right foods and go all in on some extreme plans. And sure, I would lose like a few pounds here and there and feel on top of the world, but then life would happen. A tough week at work, a vacation, the holidays, and just like that, I'd gain it all back, and sometimes even a little bit extra. Every time I failed, I felt more and more hopeless, and eventually I even thought something like, what's wrong with me? Why could other people look and feel better, but I just cannot do it? And the advice was always so overwhelming, to be honest. Eat healthy, fat is bad, carbs are good. Oh wait, actually fat is good, but you also at the same time have to cut out like entire food groups and you need to do hours of cardio. And this just simply turned food into an enemy for me. And this entire approach of dieting was just really annoying. And at some point, my body felt like a project that I was just failing at over and over. I was just exhausted from trying so hard and still getting nowhere. And then one day, I just gave up. But I didn't give up on myself. I gave up on all of that noise. And I stopped reading random advice because I realized that if I ever was going to succeed, then I had to stop listening to a million different voices and just start listening to my own. For me personally, complexity always kills my consistency. So what if the secret wasn't some new complicated diet, but just like a few rules? Rules that would be harder to break than actually follow them. And that's how my system was born. Quick note before we go on. If you're someone who already knows what to do, but you're struggling to stay consistent long enough to see results, I built something specifically for that, and the link is in the description. Alright, let's break down the system. These 3 habits were the secret to me losing 30 pounds over 9 months. My first rule was to hit 10,000 steps every single day. It sounds like a lot, but it's one of the most powerful habits that you could potentially build. On average, this adds up roughly to 300 extra calories burned every single day just by moving a little bit more. And I didn't have to live in the gym for this. I just had to get a little creative at the beginning. I started taking all my phone calls while walking around my apartment, and that's an easy 2,000 steps right there. I made the rule to always take the stairs, and in my mind, elevators did not exist anymore. But the real cheat code for me personally, especially on those busy or really bad weather days here in Germany, was my walking pad. I would watch my favorite shows or get some work done while walking inside. Absolute genius. Instead of wasting my time, I was working towards my new daily quest to hit my step goal. I used the free tracker on my phone and got obsessive about hitting that 10k number until it was just my new normal. It gamified my day and it turned movement into a consistent win. My second rule is the one people resist the most, but it's non-negotiable. Track your calories. And I know, I used to hate it too, but I reframed it. Weight loss isn't emotional, it's just a math problem. If you're not tracking, then you are just guessing, and guessing will always fail. So first I used an online calculator to find my maintenance calories, and this gave me a baseline number of calories my body actually would need to maintain its weight. And then I downloaded a tracking app and I started tracking absolute everything that I was eating. The splash of milk in my coffee, the oil I cooked with, and that one bite of my dessert. And the key was buying a cheap kitchen scale and just weigh everything and just type it into the app. Because eyeballing portion sizes is one of the biggest reasons people actually fail. You think you're eating like 1 serving of peanut butter, but it's actually 3 or 5 of them. And the scale doesn't lie. You cannot just simply 5x your calorie intake if you are actually weighing the food. And on top of that, I never aim to eat much less than my maintenance calories. Instead, by burning an extra 300 calories from my 10,000 steps, I created a natural, sustainable calorie deficit without ever feeling like I was actually starving myself. And it is pretty obvious that people who track their intake are more successful with weight loss. It's not about restriction, it's about awareness and using your data to your advantage. And that is exactly why I built the Consistency Tribe. Most people don't fail because their system doesn't work. They fail because they stop doing it after a couple of weeks and they give up. Not because they are lazy or anything, but because life simply gets in the way. And the tribe exists to help you actually stick to these habits through accountability, structure and coaching. My third and final rule is what tied it all together and it made the weight loss last. Hit my protein target every single day. and my goal was to eat between 0.8 and 1 gram of protein per pound of my body weight. So when I weighed 165 pounds, my target was to hit around 132 to 165 grams of protein per day, and I started building every single meal around the protein source first. Lean meats like chicken, turkey, and lean beef became my best friends, to be honest, and there are a few reasons this works so well. First, protein is incredibly satiating. A higher protein intake keeps you feeling fuller for longer, which obviously helps reduce your overall calorie intake because you're not constantly battling your hunger. The next reason is that protein has a higher thermic effect of food than fats or carbs. This means your body actually burns more calories just digesting the protein. Finally, when you are losing weight, ensuring you get enough protein helps you preserve your muscle mass, and this is absolutely crucial for a healthy metabolism and even more crucial to look better. When you're not having muscle on your frame and then you are losing weight but you're not eating enough protein, you are going to lose even more muscle and then you're just going to end up skinny fat, and that is not the goal here. We want to actually look and feel better, and we want to look aesthetic and not just skinny fat. You could say that the golden rule that I live by was something like, if you cannot do it for a year, then just don't do it even for a day. And these habits weren't just a temporary fix for me, they were a new lifestyle. And over 9 months, these 3 clear habits worked together in a way no diet ever could. I lost an average of about 1 pound per week, a rate that's widely considered safe and sustainable for steady weight loss. It wasn't some dramatic overnight changes or anything. It was actually really slow, steady, and almost unnoticeable day to day, but it all added up, and after 9 months, 30 pounds were gone. I looked completely different, and I did it without ever feeling miserable or deprived. It works because it's not extreme. It builds a few key behaviors that then become second nature. It doesn't ask you to flip your entire life upside down overnight. It just asks you for consistency in 3 specific areas, and that creates a massive ripple effect. I went from feeling broken and believing that weight loss was some impossible puzzle that I just couldn't solve, to now loving myself and actually feeling good in my own body. You don't have to fight your body, you just have to work with it. You just have to give it the right food and the right signals. If I can go from hating what I see in the mirror to losing 30 pounds with a system this straightforward, I'm absolutely convinced that you can find your own success too. If you're serious about making this the last time to lose weight, the Consistency Tribe is for you. It's where we take this system and apply it week after week with accountability and support from people on the same path. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these 3 habits seem most achievable for you to start today? Let me know in the comments below. I'm going to be reading and replying to as many comments as I can, because I believe sharing our journeys is how we all learn and grow. Thank you so much for watching, and I see you in the next video.